Hello.
Happy
Good
new
morning.
month. Happy new month, gentlemen.
Happy New Month, happy February.
Yes.
I like February.
Why?
Oh, it flies by.
But this year is a leap year, so it's 29.
But it always flies by. February is that month.
Yes, it moves very fast. January was very long.
Yeah, January doesn't like moving.
I was wondering last week why we're still in January.
Yeah, but
even yesterday was still January.
it was like a 5-week January.
I tell you, it's very long.
It was like a 5-week January.
Yeah, and because of the way it started, because the year ended in whatever Sunday or something, so it was very long.
But February is good.
Always better than January.
The question I ask about February is those who were born on the 29th, how do they celebrate their birthdays in between?
Is that the day after 28th or the day before first March? You decide which one you want. Whatever it is, by first March, your birthday has come. You see how it works? Or you can celebrate every 4 years. So you are 0, you are 4, you are 6, or whatever, 8. That's also fine. Anyway, so let's start with the Ghanaian Times.
The Ghanaian Times says at Africa-Italy Summit 2024, President rallies African leaders' support for AfTA, calls for support to unlock $450 billion for continent. Page on another one, the page 8 says Chiefs visit La General Hospital construction site. Interesting story. Don't transfer project funds into MP's personal accounts. And MP secures injunction against declaration of Wale Wale parliamentary primary results. And 5 groups demand 60% district assembly appointees as women.
Let's go on to the first
Let me
one.
take you to the front page of the Anchor, where I'll start this morning, just to change the flavor for you. Top security chiefs go partisan. Former IGP, CID boss Kofi Boache join opposition campaign. Mansour Dubia roads abandoned. Politicians, mining firms turn blind eye. This road has been in the news for a very long time, and they put the photo of the MP. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't put the MC or the DC there. Organize fresh elections in Yendi. Hajabi Bata petitions NPP neck.
All right, the new finder says FSRP to roll out 2 million broiler project driven by ECOWAS with World Bank funding. Jinapor seeks large-scale miners for dollar power, and MPA revises mode of LPG importation to reduce cost and improve efficiency.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. New EC reforms will bring chaos. That's former President John Mahama. British government applauds Ghana. I'll tell you why. There are more stories emerging from the Ghana Statistical Service and the health report that was released recently. This one on polyamorous relationships and the poor use of condom sex. I don't know why Daily Guide decided to get vulgar on their front page this morning. Come on, Daily Guide, grow. It's 2024, grow.
The Chronicle.
They are still in their news one mindset.
The Chronicle says jury system should be scrapped. Godfrey Dami says it delays some of the cases in court. Let's put the primary behind us and work towards victory. Fred Chia Samoa. And nurses leave Ghana in droves.
Which reminds me, Bernard, on the front page of the Daily, yesterday, Daily Guide had a very nasty headline.
Daily Guide.
Yes.
So 2 days straight.
Yes.
On which topic?
On defilement case.
Yes. I saw that.
The way they treated it
Yes, it was absolutely
And it's
distasteful.
becoming a bit of a trend.
Maybe the NMC must look into it.
No, it's not NMC. It's just poor editorial leadership.
So they decide to sort of play to the gallery.
No, it's
It's
language
just
that is
lang-
not supposed to
it's
be
not.
used. We don't use that sort of language. The person is not before a court for the headline that you put there. There's a very clear crime. It is defilement. State it.
Okay. I get that. I don't remember the headline anyway, but thank
It's
you.
not headline we will want to repeat, but they should change
So that was
that thing they are
yesterday.
doing. Front page of the Daily Graphic, Bernard. Centenary celebration. Kolebu upgrades 30 wards. There's a photo of Dr. Poku Ware Ampoma, Chief Executive Officer. I'll tell you why this is an achievement. Yes, condom use among polyamorous persons low. Ghana Health Service. This is more like it. Be flexible, make election outcome acceptable to all. This is coming from Professor Ayi to the Electoral Commission.
All right, the Daybreak newspaper says alarm blows at GRA amidst in inappropriate contract transfer to India. Customs boss at post at 61. That's the question. MPA revises LPG import mode and Amuama goes home today.
Front page of the BNFT finally from me, Bernard. Banks can do more for economy. Ekufuado rallies lenders towards affordable long-term credit. On the matter of corruption, GII decries zero asset declaration, unexplained wealth, blames failing justice system for corruption. Okay. In mining, FGR workers unhappy over mismanagement of Bogoso Pristia mine. That's one of our bigger mines. Take a look at this also as well, Bernard.
The ABC News finally from me. Soldier nabbed in 136,000 CD recruitment scam. I think one of the papers carried this yesterday. In other stories, clean cooking advocate Samira Baumia assesses prevalent cooking methods in Jamestown. And there's a question on the front page of the ABC News, and it is Mahama's 24-hour economy, a hollow slogan or solid.
You know, it's interesting. You read a story that said nurses were living in droves. If you come on citynewsroom.com, one of the lead stories there is that rotational nurses and midwives have given government a 2-week ultimatum to pay their allowances. So why wouldn't they leave? All right, a couple of stories here. I left Millicom because people thought a Ghanaian couldn't manage it. This is Selma Dadevo, MTN CEO's outgoing. It also reflects on COVID-19 impact, unprecedented network pressure, and lasting changes in a conversation I had with him a couple of days ago. In other stories, Kasua Winneba, Adenta Dodowa roads are national security priority roads. This came from yesterday's interview with the roads ministry. Also, stop stigmatizing people living with HIV/AIDS. This is the commission to Ghanaians. NDC supports Mohammed's position on same-sex marriage. This is Sam George. And Asante region residents won Baumia Napo ticket for December poll. This is from Asafua. In the other story, NLC says the strike by teacher unions is unmeritorious and needless. NLC, no. If you come to my journal, implementation of Emission Levy Act begins today, February the 1st. Also, Mahama says I'm against LGBTQ plus ECG to undertake nationwide meter audit effective today, Thursday the 1st. And a few other stories. PAC recommends arrest of former head teacher over 72,000 CD and earned salary. If you go to Class FM, NDC demands justice for Ayawaso West Wagon victims 5 years on. And then a few other stories. Married women most likely to use opt for withdrawal method. GSS report being discussed copiously everywhere. Star FM is leading with Till embarks on strike effective today. So labor unions in the news. 5 businessmen jailed 60 years for importing over 2 kilograms or over 2,000 grams of cocaine. So that's like 2 kilograms of cocaine. And then Moisha Bodong with stroke, brother begs for financial support is the story making rounds. Globally, EU leaders are seeking a deal to fund Ukraine as Hungary digs in its heels. That's the story. In sports, Liverpool thump Chelsea. 4-1. This is City Sports headline. Why are you looking at me like this? And then Mohamed Kudus is back from AFCON, which is good. This is the West Ham manager. Ghana News Agency is talking about the 50% pregnant women being anemic. Lots of health stories these past few days. And the Chief Justice to judges, let no one feel discouraged to use the law. Let's come into the details.
Okay, Bernard, I will start from the BNFT.
Let
me talk about corruption because we haven't done very well. On page 2, the Ghana Integrity Initiative has raised concerns over legal gaps in the processes necessary for prosecuting selected corruption cases outside the country's legal framework. The organization explained that anti-corruption frameworks, including those that address unexplained wealth, influence peddling, among others, require a strong goal justice system to support them. Transparency International and the GI attributed Ghana's stagnation in its fight against corruption to the deteriorating justice system, which they say is reducing the accountability of public officials and allowing corruption to thrive.
We're talking about the court or legal system. The Attorney General, Godfred Dame, is advocating for the elimination of the jury system from the country's jurisprudence. In his view, the jury system is one of the reasons some of the cases delay in court, and that, quote, I personally think that the jury system ought to be eliminated, end quote. He said this while meeting the family of the late Major Maxwell Mahama in Accra yesterday, and this is on page 3 of the Chronicle.
We have a raft of health stories
that
we should deal with. So the Daily Graphic has 2, and Bernard also has a few. So Kolebu is 100, according to
100 years.
Yes, the front page of the paper. And it will renovate over 30 wards of the hospital as part of its centenary celebration this year. This is expected to cost 4 million Ghana cedis and will be completed within a year. This, according to Dr. Puku Wariampoma, the CEO of the hospital, said the project was aimed at improving patient experience at the hospital. Now, the renovation exercise will cover all departments of the hospital, including the maternity, child health, gynecology, medical ward, psychiatry, and EN nose, and so that's ENT. A quote attributed to him says, we want to revamp and modernize them. Some of the facilities are 100 years old. The old blocks and some others were built in the 1960s. So definitely they need some renovation.
Still on health.
Still on health. Some 4,000 Ghanaian nurses have left the country in the last 3 years. That's according to Dr. Patrick Kumar Boaji, who's Director General of the Ghana Health Service. According to him, these nurses travel abroad because, of obvious reasons, the attractive pay which the Ghanaian government is unable to give. And he stressed that the development was depriving the country of experienced nurses to work in various hospitals. Now, he appeared before Parliament's Public Accounts Committee on Tuesday, January 30, to respond to queries that were detailed or that were contained in the 2022 report of the Auditor General.
Well, which is quite interesting because on citinewsroom.com, Rotational and Midwifery Association has given the Ministry of Health a 2-week ultimatum to release their financial clearance for payment, or else their members will lay down their tools. The association has been lamenting unpaid allowances totaling over 12,000 cedis for the July batch of rotational nurses and midwives. Now, in a statement, the leadership of the association said several letters have been sent to the ministry to release their financial clearance for the payment of national service allowances, but no response has been given. You know, these people sometimes being protest to be employed. So on one hand, we are losing experienced nurses, but when they enter with strike and lack of pay, obviously their feeling toward the country will be very bad. They have told the ministry to address their plight within 2 weeks or have themselves to blame. They call on the Ministry of Finance to release their financial clearance immediately. They've also urged the GRNA, the Nursing and Midwifery Council, and other stakeholders to help them. And there's a full statement they've released asking for financial clearance from government.
More on health. Page 8 of the Ghanaian Times. Chiefs visit La General Hospital construction site.
Okay.
Stories by Victor Buxton. And it says a delegation from the La Traditional Council and the La Dade Kotopon Municipal Assembly has visited the La General Hospital site to ascertain the progress of work and challenges being faced, led by Ni Ajay Kufe IV, who's the Shikitele or the kingmaker. The visit was necessitated by agitation from La residents and other interested stakeholders in the assembly on the delay in reconstructing the hospital. Now, the hospital was demolished in July 2020 due to several structural issues reported by the hospital's administration. And at the time of the visit, work was ongoing with excavation being done for the main facility, while the portion for a residential block had been raised above ground level.
That story was on Citi News a few days ago. Now, still on health, 76% of men are unaware of their HIV status. GSS report. This report is really...
It's loaded, eh?
I mean, I like the way it's being released. Now, the Ghana Demographic and Health Survey conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed concerning statistics regarding HIV awareness and prevention among men aged 15 to 49. The data reveals that a significant 76% of men in this age group were unaware of their HIV status. Furthermore, only 28% reported the use of condoms during sexual encounters with non-cohabiting partners. In contrast, women in the same age bracket exhibited higher awareness levels, with approximately 54% undergoing HIV testing and 11% using condoms during sexual activity. I was reading somewhere, men generally seem to live riskier lives, even with the kind of jobs they do, which is why they tend to die earlier than women. Now, the acting director of demography of the GSS, Godwin Odejb, emphasized the importance of men taking a more proactive role in knowing their HIV status.
Let's do some politics now. And the front page of the Anchor says that a lot of former security couples seem to have entered the political arena.
Very good observation.
Yes, and says even though this general election is yet to peak, some retired senior security chiefs, mainly from the Ghana Police Administration, have openly shown their political affiliation by joining the NDC campaign. Key on the list are former Inspector General of Police Mohammed Al-Hassan, the former Director General of the Criminal Investigations Department, COP retired by and retired Commissioner of Police Nathan Kofi Boakye.
I think they were spotted at different programs. I think Kofi Boakye was spotted in Kumasi at some walk.
Yeah, but we also saw Alex Mensah go.
Yes, I think that's where the story is going.
Now, also on the front page of the Daily Guide, the former president is making headlines that he has spoken out against the EC's proposal to shift the date of the presidential and parliamentary elections. A story by Ernest Kofi Edu says that, according to the former president, such a major electoral reform should not be implemented during an election year, since it can cause chaos if not handled properly.
There was another story on the EC where somebody was asking them not to introduce too many new things so that they can engender trust. That was Professor Achu Aye. I think it was a headline.
Yes, that's on page 16
of the Daily Graphic.
I can give you a few lines from them, where the vice president of Arts of the Academy of Arts and Science. Hey,
yes. So the vice president of Arts,
yes,
of the Academy of Arts and Sciences,
yes, Professor Joseph Achuayi has urged the Electoral Commission to be flexible in considering certain reforms key to the smooth conduct of the December 7 election. He said in order to make the outcome of the elections contentious and create chaos in the country, the EC must take into account the views of all stakeholders.
Meanwhile, I don't support LGBTQ plus. It's against my faith. Mahama has said. Flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, has firmly stated his position on LGBTQ plus issues and the proposed legislation regarding the human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values, commonly referred to as the anti-gay bill. Now, addressing the issue at a breakfast meeting with the clergy in Koforidua on Wednesday, Mr. Mahama stated that his faith is against same-sex marriage, emphasizing the natural order of creation. He also voiced his concern about Electoral Commission's proposal to move the voting date from December to November. So those are the two headlines from that event. Now, let me take you to two things that are set to happen today. Both are not very good. Implementation of Emissions Levy Act begins February 1. In fact, three things. One is okay, two are some way.
Okay.
So Emissions Levy Act begins today. The GRA has announced the commencement of the implementation of the Emissions Levy Act 1112 from Thursday, February 1. According to them, the act will impose a levy on carbon dioxide equivalent emissions on internal combustion engine vehicles. Okay. Now, the GRA emphasized that the move aligns with government's commitment to addressing greenhouse gas emissions. On paper, that's not such a bad idea, but if you look at all the taxes we have received and the way this is being implemented, a lot of commentators say it's not a very good tax to apply at this time.
They should also remove a lot of the torturers on the roads.
So, yeah, that's the point, right? So then the second one, TEU embarks on strike effective today. Okay, that's also a troubling one. The National Executive Council of TEU, which is the Tertiary Education Workers Union, has declared a strike action effective today, Thursday, February 1. Their demands mirror that of the Senior Staff Association and University Administrators, currently in their third week of a strike. I hope you know this. Addressing, and by the way, the University of Ghana held graduations amidst strike actions.
Yes.
Aside from demanding a withdrawal of a directive from the GTEC to suspend overtime and extra duty allowance, they're also demanding that the government pays 9 months of their tier 2 pensions to fund managers. Okay, so that's another troubling one. I'll give you the third one later. Something else happening today, February 1. But let's do a few other stories quickly before I come there.
Okay, let me talk about this Mansour Dubia road. It's been in the news for a while. Alongside other roads, yesterday you did a lot of road works on the show. Kofi Mensah writes that the construction works on the Mansour Dubia roads in the Ashanti region, which started sometime in 2021, has been abandoned, leaving several portions of the road with potholes. The situation residents say becomes worse, especially during the rainy season, forcing motorists to use the road to take advantage of the issue to charge exorbitant fares and make life unbearable for commuters. Attempts to get the name of the contractors have yielded no results, although there are insider reports on who the contractor is. We'll go on to the name.
Now, the third thing that's happening today, ECG to undertake nationwide meter audit today. So, three things. Today is a strike by TEU. Today, the emissions levy is being implemented. Now, the ECG, this story is on my journal online, ECG has also announced that it will be conducting a nationwide meter audit effective February 1. Okay. The exercise will run throughout the year. According to them, the audit will involve a comprehensive examination of both the front and back of all postpaid and prepaid meters to verify their integrity within the operational areas of ECG. Emphasizing the authority under the PRC LI 2413, the ECG said that they have the mandate to access all their installations anywhere at any time. So they can come to your house and check.
Oh, they should come.
So you should be alert.
Yeah, they should come.
All right.
All right, page 2 of the new Finder, FSRP to roll out 2 million broiler project. Story is written by Elvis Daku, and it says the West Africa Food System Resilience Program is poised to produce 2 million broilers this year to reduce the import of poultry, with the success of the initial year determining the project scaling. Project implementers are finalizing the review of submissions received, and successful poultry farmers will soon receive support to enhance production. Now, the project, encompassing crops as well, is being implemented by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture with funding from the World Bank, and it's being implemented under the auspices of ECOWAS, and it's also funded by the World Bank. Now, Mr. Philip Daniel Lai, who's operations manager of the FSRP, indicated that Ghana was only about 15% self-sufficient in poultry. He highlighted that local production was dominated by layers due to the presence of a substantial egg market, with spent layers also being sold. However, broilers, which were usually ready between 5 and 8 weeks, faced challenges finding a market due to a combination of factors, including stiff competition from imports.
Yeah.
Now, examining the issue with broilers, he noted that without an off-taker by the 8th week, farmers face challenges as the birds would eat heavily without added value in terms of sales price.
Let me take you to some sports news on page 47 of the Daily Graphic. The Ghana Football Association and Andrea, you have all issued apologies for the AFCON fiasco.
An apologia.
Kwekuzurek writes that in the wake of the Black Stars' early exit from AFCON 2023, the Ghana Football Association, the team's captain, Andrea, you have rendered an apology to Ghanaians for the team's poor performance with a promise to take immediate steps to ensure Ghana bounces back.
Okay. Well, Andre, I wonder why he wants back. Andre should just retire from the team. Okay. Now, just a quick one. Kodio is telling EC to release election 2024 timetable. The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers has asked the Electoral Commission to release a timetable for the December 2024 general elections. The NDC and the MPP have similarly expressed concern that the roadmap to the general election should have been released by now to enhance good planning by stakeholders. According to the National Coordinator of Kodio, Albert Ahin, once this is done, the EC can attempt to convince the political parties and other stakeholders that it is ready for the December poll. So that's a story I wanted to highlight for you quickly this morning.
What's happening internationally, Bernard?
Well, there's a big so a couple of things. In Pakistan, former President Imran Khan and his wife have been jailed for corruption. EU leaders are seeking a deal to fund Ukraine, and the discussion going on. Ghana's president is in Italy.
Yes.
I thought that was quite interesting.
He went for the summit.
Yes. Page 8 of the daily, the Ghanaian Times has it there. And the president has called on fellow heads of state and the global business community to focus on unlocking the $450 billion that the continent stands to accrue under the AFTA by 2035.
Think about this. We are here in ECOWAS and 3 of our members say they've left. ECOWAS is not even organizing an emergency meeting to bring them back. We are in Italy at the invitation of Rome to discuss how Italy can collaborate with 54 African countries. China has meetings with
us. And their reason is to stem migration. That's the only interest Italy has.
So
China, they only help you because they don't want you to come.
Like China will invite us, US invites us, Russia invites us, Japan invites us, now even Italy. Like, what power does Italy have?
So broke Italy.
Like, no, let's
broke Italy.
Like, and we are here talking about after trade. You get it? Like,
billion.
Why don't we come together, have a meeting with ECOWAS and say, how can we look? Niger is a major route for onions. They've left ECOWAS. What does that mean?
Burkina Faso.
Do you get it?
Mali.
Russia has
Food
just landed in
issues.
Burkina Faso that we are waiting for the British to come and tell us how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So why do we like these things?
Let me tell you something that is also concerning on the continent. On page 5 of the Daily Graphic, only a small fraction of needy people in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region are receiving food aid, according to an aid memo seen by the Associated Press. More than 1 month after aid agencies resumed deliveries of grain following a lengthy pause, just 14% of 3.2 million people targeted for food aid by humanitarian agencies in the region this month have received their food. And also, finally, the planned auction of dozens of artifacts belonging to Nelson Mandela has been suspended pending a court application to completely halt it, the body that protects South Africa's cultural heritage said. The online auction had been settled by New York-based Gensi Auction House on February 24 in conjunction with Dr. Makaziwe Mandela, the eldest daughter of the anti-apartheid icon, and had received widespread criticism from the public and the South African government, which is supporting a court application by the South African Heritage Resources Agency to appeal an earlier court judgment that gave the auction the go-ahead. Some of the things they are selling, so a champagne cooler, that was a present from former President Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of other things.
I wanted to just point out something which will come up in tech and social media trends. So U.S. Senate is holding a hearing with tech CEOs. And the CEOs were told that they have blood on their hands in relation to child safety. So you have U.S. senators on Wednesday grilling leaders of the biggest social media companies and said Congress must quickly pass legislation as one lawmaker accused the companies of having blood on their hands for failing to protect children from escalating threats of sexual predation on their platforms. And the hearing marks the latest effort by lawmakers to address the concern of parents and mental health experts that social media companies put profits over guardrails that will ensure their platforms do not become platforms for sexual predators and children getting into serious mental health conditions. So I think we should think about this in Ghana. I always say that when it comes to these social media companies, it's the EU and the US who take issue with them. We just allow anything. And we just did a show on effective agencies where Dr. Larifia was talking about how people's children exposure to social media can affect their mental health, right? But it doesn't seem to be on the radar of Parliament at all. Do you get it? So I feel like we need to also tighten our laws around social media access here in this country, particularly for children. We'll end that here. That was a newspaper review. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.
The wait is